I think most of you would have a chance to read academic journal, right? Most of people will not read through everything. They will read through the findings and the recommendation. Right? So once you do all the research, what did you find? And how can you use that finding to improve that situation? Right? So that is all the PhD is all about. Right? Trying to find something new, trying to find something that's unique. Okay? So imagine this, right? By the end of your degree, or when you finish all the class, when you finish your dissertation, you will be an expert on what you are doing. Right? For example, if you want to study a learning environment in the school, right, you will be an expert on that. No one else will be an expert. So you have to think about this, right? You have to think about that your topic is very unique. No one else will know what you do. Right? This is the beauty of a PhD. Right? You have the ability to create something that you can be an expert on something. Okay? So basically, again, well, let's go back. Objective of the study, scope and benefit and limitation. Right? Now, often that many of the advisor, many of the people who sit in the defense will ask something that, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right? This will help you. Okay? For example, this is basically you are setting the scope in the box. You will not do anything outside your scope. Right? You are focusing on just in this area. Right? So your advisor or other people cannot say, why don't you do this? Right? Then you can go back to the scope. That this is your scope. Right? You use that to protect yourself, basically. Right? So my research topic, I involve the two types of the respondents. Right? First one is the security brokers or security brokerage. First one. Secondly is the supervisory agency or people who are working in the department of the SEC. Right? So the regulator and the regulated entities. Right? Two parties. Okay? And again, the benefit of the study should link with your objective. Right? Should go back and link to your objective. Okay? Now this is the thing that you have to start talking about, right? The background of your study, right? In my study, right, I start to talk about the principle base, the rule base, okay? The supervisor or the SEC or the regulator, they must do the following, right? Now, for example, being a regulator, myself, I used to work for them, you have to really understand how the people who are regulating work. For example, if you are Ministry of Finance, if you are Ministry of Education, right, you must know how the school runs, basically. You must know how the school runs, how people are recruited, how things are handled in the university or school, in order to issue the regulation for them. Same thing, right? If you want to regulate someone, you have to know how to do it. Right? In the business area, if you want to be a good manager must know how to do everything in the company. Okay? So if you want to be a manager, any task that your staff can do, you must be able to do it. Right? So the idea is just like that. Right? You have to know what you are doing. So basically, right, what we have here is to understand the requirement of the business, right? Place no burden. Okay, the rule and regulation, the idea is that to keep people behave themselves, but also you have to encourage them to be innovative and be and growth as well. Okay, and to encourage a healthy business competition. Right? So these are the things that I talk about, and then I talk about the principle. Right, so I don't want to go into too much detail. This is very too much detail. Okay. Now, I'm not sure. I think Dr. Todd also doing something on the risk as well. I think he wrote a number of books about risk. Now, the concept of the risk base is very interesting, right? You can apply this into many areas, right? Now, when you say something is risky, what do you think? When you say something is risky, risk, what is risk? What is risk? If I drive when I'm drinking very heavy, is that risky? Risky, yes? Okay, so basically the risk is something that can occur, right? So have a look at the first one, probability. If I drive home very healthy, I don't drink, I am not tired, will I have a chance to crash my car? Probably not. Or my chance is very low. So I have a low probability. Right? On the other hand, if I drink alcohol and I start driving, the chance that I will crash my car increase. Okay? Accident increase. So the risk of accident, right? The probability is like that. Okay? Now, let's say if I drink, right? If I drink a lot of alcohol, okay? And I'm driving a bus. I'm not driving my personal car. I'm driving a bus. Right? And the bus full of people. Okay? If I drink alcohol and I drive a bus, the chance that I will crash and hurt people in my bus will be very high. So the probability, the risk base is like that, right? The risk is based on the chance that it will happen and the impact that it will happen. Okay? Now, in comparison, right? Let me compare the large university, big university, and a small university, right? If the big university fails, that impact will impact to many people in the society. On the other hand, if the small university fails, the impact is a lot lesser. Okay? Now, the idea is important for finance, right? The idea is very important for finance because if you have a large financial institution bankrupt, you understand bankrupt, right? They went out of business. The chance that it will happen and will affect the whole society will be very high. So therefore, they have higher risk. Okay? So the concept in finance is very important like that. Okay? Now again, right, there are different types of risks, right? Prudential concern with money, control, right, the operational control, customer relation, right, and information technology. So the concept evolved around a different idea of risk area. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if you heard about the problem in England. I think in a couple of years back, right? When I think I can use the example in Cyprus. Right? I think most of you heard the news in Cyprus about one of the banks is going to collapse, going to close down, right? So people start taking their money out. Okay? So what will happen in the finance is that if one thing collapses, it will have a chain reaction, right? So if one thing collapses, other banks or other financial institutions will have some sort of effect, and at the end, the whole society will be affected by this incident. Okay?